Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, it's day 3 of a standstill on Capitol Hill. We take a look at Republican leader Kevin McCarthy's ongoing battle to secure the Speaker's gavel. And a major shift in border security. What is President Biden's latest plan? And a look at his plea to Congress.
Plus, it's feeling a lot cooler outside today, and more of that is on the way. The latest coming up as Mountain News at 5:30 starts now.
Dedicated to Southern and Eastern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. A historic deadlock that has brought the U.S. House to a standstill is in day number 3. Lawmakers are still voting on a new speaker after a group of hard-right Republicans rejected GOP leader Kevin McCarthy in 6 votes in the previous 2 days. And it was the same outcome after the 7th, 8th, 9th, and apparently the 10th vote, which is going on right now. CBS's Nicole D'Antonio reports from Capitol Hill.
The House will be in order.
Disorder reigned as the House was gavelled in for a 3rd day in its historic struggle to elect a new speaker. Before voting kicked off Thursday, Representative-elect John James delivered a nominating speech for Republican leader Kevin McCarthy.
The issues today are over a few rules and personalities. We need a conservative fighter to help this country get back on the right track. But the first thing we need to do is elect Leader McCarthy as Speaker of the House.
So far, McCarthy has failed to convince far-right members of his party to support his bid for Speaker. He spent part of Thursday morning meeting privately with Republicans.
We're just going to keep working until we solve it.
It's the first time in a century that a nominee for House Speaker did not sail through on the first vote. GOP House members opposing McCarthy have, for now, joined together in support of an alternative choice.
I rise to place in nomination the name of Byron Donalds of Florida.
To try and break the stalemate, McCarthy's offered concessions, including making it possible for any single House member to call for a vote to oust the Speaker. He's also proposing the holdouts pick 2 members of the key House Rules Committee, which could shape legislation once the new session gets underway. Nicole D'Antonio, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
The new Republican-led House is not expected to be in session on Friday, which is the 2nd anniversary, of course, of the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson is planning to release a memoir on her life called Lovely One. The book's publisher, Random House, says the memoir will chart her path to making history as the first black woman to join the court. From her upbringing in Miami to her studies at Harvard and subsequent years balancing a legal career with motherhood and marriage, culminating in her ascension to the Supreme Court last June. Jackson said Thursday she hopes the book will stand as a testament for young women, people of color, and dreamers everywhere to believe in themselves and follow their ambitions. The U.S. government is making moves to seize the $460 million Robinhood stake linked to disgraced FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried. The Justice Department has launched a legal battle over ownership of the shares of the popular stock trading app, Bankman-Fried's bankrupt crypto exchange FTX, and another bankrupt company. The DOJ says it believes the assets, quote, are not property of the bankruptcy estate or that they fall within the exceptions of the bankruptcy code. 4 separate entities have laid claim to the shares worth about $460 million.
Well, some chillier weather back in the forecast already as we head through this evening. Our highs were in the 50s today. That's above average, but we won't stay there for very long. Here's a look outside right now. Upper 40s into portions of the I-64 corridor. A nice sunset underway just above the banner, just behind the banner there in Moorhead. And here's another beautiful look from Buffalo Mountain here in Perry County. Upper 40s and a gorgeous look out there as the sun dips below the horizon. Temperatures out there continuing their even coolness throughout the region. Middle and upper 40s already starting to ease into the region as the sun sets. And some of us in the Cumberland Valley still near 50. A couple of light showers trying to get going across far northern Kentucky. Those could sneak along the I-64 corridor a little bit later on tonight. So keep that First Alert weather app handy if you're out later tonight. tonight. Keep an eye on the potential for a few showers, but most of that should hold off until after midnight. We'll keep an eye as those temperatures drop into the mid-30s for tonight. Now, details coming up in a few minutes on when we return to the potential for a few more showers in the region. That's in a few minutes. Steve?
Evan, thank you. President Biden announced a major shift in border security in the face of record numbers of migrants flooding into the United States. As CBS's Deborah Alfarone reports, the president is also planning his first trip to the southern border since taking office.
Migrants gathered in Mexico border towns fearing a crackdown on crossings into the U.S., a move President Biden confirmed on Thursday.
We can't stop people from making the journey, but we can require them to come here in an orderly way under U.S. law.
The new policy says migrants crossing illegally from Nicaragua, Cuba, and Haiti will be immediately expelled to Mexico, a policy that already applies to Venezuelans. Instead, the U.S. will accept 30,000 people a month from those four countries if they apply through a legal process and have a financial sponsor in the U.S.
So the message is clear. Individuals should stay where they are and apply for these processes from there.
President Biden has been under intense pressure from Republican leaders as illegal crossings increase to record levels. Now, the president is planning a trip to the border on Sunday, where thousands of migrants try to get into the U.S. each day. The president will visit El Paso, Texas, where shelters are overflowing, leaving crowds of migrants to sleep on the streets. Florida is also handling an influx. Just since the weekend, hundreds of Cubans have made the dangerous trip by sea to the Florida Keys.
Our Border Patrol is working their butts off trying to keep us safe, and the Biden administration is basically telling them, no, your job is to process more people through faster.
President Biden says the real work is up to Congress, calling on lawmakers to enact a full immigration plan to fix a broken system. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, Washington.
A statement from the Kremlin reveals Russian President Vladimir Putin told Turkey's president that Moscow is open to serious dialogue regarding Ukraine, but Kyiv must accept the new territorial realities. Putin also emphasized, quote, the destructive role of the West, pumping Ukraine with weapons and providing it with target designation. Putin and Turkey's president also discussed expanding ties in the energy sector. Putin also asked to lift barriers on Russian exports as part of the July 22nd grain deal. Well, Putin has ordered a 36-hour ceasefire in Ukraine over Orthodox Christmas. It would be the first major truce of the more than 10-month-long war that has killed tens of thousands and devastated swaths of Ukraine. Putin ordered the ceasefire to begin tomorrow, January 6th. Many Orthodox Christians, including those living in Russia and Ukraine, celebrate Christmas on the 6th and 7th. President Joe Biden responded to Putin's call. Here's a small portion of what he had to say.
I'm reluctant to respond to anything Putin says. I found it interesting. He was ready to bomb hospitals and nurseries and churches, and on the 25th and New Year's, and I mean, you know, I think he's trying to find some oxygen.
A United Nations spokesperson also responded to Putin's call. They said the Secretary General welcomes the end of hostilities.
You know, Christmas represents a holy period for both Russians and Ukrainians. The possibility that this holy period be respected with a cessation of all hostilities is always welcome by the Secretary General, knowing that this will not replace a just peace in line with the UN Charter and international law.
Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, are you on the hunt for a new job? Your paycheck might not be the only thing you need to negotiate. Tips for bargaining for more than just your salary.
Plus, continuing to watch more cooler air push in, but that also brings in the potential for weekend rain chances. The latest details coming up after this.